You do act as a sort of a glue, a bridge
Hmm.
between what's happening on in the real world and what's happening in the digital systems that are supposed to represent the real world accurately, so that you can use them to make predictions and operate. But sometimes they don't, not because people don't know that domain, because they do, but it's the end-to-end flow that matters as well. So stitching those domains together in a way that it's coherent is key as well. So, but what's hard about it?
What's hard about it? It's actually a hard skill set to have because it's a techno-functional role. Because you always have to be thinking about the business context of things. You have to be thinking about, hey, this data, how is it used within business process? Who are the business folks that are using it? For what purpose? We need to be asking these questions, right? And then the collaboration there with data governance teams, it's critical because from a process perspective, we need to understand it, but then what does that data mean? And do we speak the same language? This is where you have to work very closely with data governance, data stewardship type folks as well, right? That help drive some of those common definitions. What's hard is that you have to have technical skills. You need to, know how the systems work. You need to have enough technical chops that you can then, on one hand, talk to the technical implementation resources. But on the other hand, you talk to the business stakeholders. And even there, the other hard part about it is that in this type of a role, you always try to influence folks and how they think about it. Most of times, not always, and we're getting better at this, but most of times people are like, I don't care. This is what I'm measured on. This is my project. This is my scope. I don't care. I don't want anybody to break downstream, but sometimes folks don't think about it because the focus is what I need to deliver right here. I need to deploy this one system, right? And this is the 50 attributes that I need, right? And this is how my system understands them. Now, does the downstream system understand them the same way? Meaning the people using those systems within the business processes, we need to pay attention to that. Taking time so that influencing of, okay, that's great, but we still need to understand how is this going to impact someone downstream. It's a link. It's a link in a bigger chain, right? If it doesn't link well, right, and if it doesn't play nicely with downstream, or if it doesn't take care to make sure that it provides downstream what downstream needs, because this is the place where we need to capture and provide it and validate it, then we need to take time to do that. And influencing people to think from that mindset and bring a little bit in there. We always want to also balance, right? And that's another big challenge. You want to balance the, hey, think of it from an enterprise perspective, because again, information architecture is really enterprise information architecture, EIA, right? So we want to balance thinking from the enterprise perspective with the needs right now, what we're trying to do right now. But you can't go to one extreme or the other, right? You can't only be thinking about end to end, because making all of that and making it perfect always, right, it will take too long, and people are just not going to go for it because we need to deliver.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, just focusing on delivering this right here, right now, and not really thinking a little bit more, intentionally about how this fits into the rest of the ecosystem and what other business processes depend on it. And is
Yeah.
there anything that we need to do? That's not good either. So we need to balance the two. And really, this is more about architecture. The other thing I would say too, sometimes folks think, we're going to build all of that. Well, not necessarily. It's kind of like when you're building a house, right? You need to know if you're going to be building a one-story ranch or a, 3-story home, 2-story home. How are you going to architect your foundation? How big, how strong is your foundation going to be? So we need to architect it for what we need now and later and what downstream needs, but then we can iterate through the build and keep on adding features, or build for this specific set of features, or in this specific area, because and especially when it comes to enterprise master data, because Enterprise information architecture has a lot to do with enterprise master data as well. Remember, it's the other side of the coin with data governance, where again, the focus is yes on all data, but predominantly enterprise master data, right? That has close-wide impact.